All right, guys, welcome back to Everything Business. Thank you for joining. Today, I'll be looking at last year's POB paper, actually, right, 2021, right, and we'll just be going through some answers. Now, a little disclaimer, these are, my responses to the questions. Your teachers and other persons may have different responses that are also correct. So these are not the only correct answers, right? But there are various answers that can work as well, right? But I hope that this will help you. So let's get right into it. So it's question 1, right? It states that you should list 4 instruments of exchange, right? And I have 4 instruments there. You have money. I have 5 actually: money, debit card, credit card, check, and bill of exchange. Bill of exchange is like the barter, right? Then we have 1B, outline 2 ways in which money facilitates trade in the modern economy, right? Now, money is a medium of exchange, right? And what that means is that you can use it to buy goods and services. So that's one way it facilitates trade. And also, money is used to place value on things, right, or products. And if products don't have any value, then there could be no trading, right? So it does facilitate trading in that respect. So let's look at the other question. All right, so let's look at 1C. Now it says that we are supposed to state the characteristics of each of the following types of businesses: sole proprietorship business or a sole trader, right? So it is owned by one person. It is easy to start with no legal paperwork or registration, and it needs little capital. So that's fairly simple. For public companies, you can sell shares to the public. That's a characteristic, and they must publish their financial records. For cooperatives, a characteristic is that it's open membership, and what that means is that irrespective of race, creed, you can become a member of a cooperative. So there's really very little discrimination or no discrimination against who can become a member in a cooperative type of business. Democratic control, right? The control or the administration of a cooperative is done democratically by voting and election, right? 3, formed to provide service to its members, right? So it's not really a profit-making type of business, but it's formed to provide services for its members, and if profits are made, then it's shared among members. All right. So question 1D, it says explain 3 ways in which businesses in a free market economy operate when compared to businesses in a planned economy. Now you have to know what a free market economic system is about and what a planned economic system is about. All right, so you need to check that out, right? So 1, businesses in a free market economy are profit driven, right? While in a planned economy, they are not profit driven. Businesses in a free market are owned by private individuals, while businesses in a planned economic system are owned by the government. Businesses in a free market, the third one, businesses in a free market economic system will experience very little interference from the government, while in a planned economic system, right, there may be many restrictions that are placed on businesses by the government. All right. The next one, question 2, it says identify 4 potential sources of conflict within the workplace, right? So when you think about this, you're thinking about stuff or things that can cause conflict within the workplace. So 1, rates of pay, right? Poor working conditions, management and leadership issues, violation of workers' rights, unprofessionalism in the workplace, and all of these can cause conflict in the workplace, right? List 4 actions that employees can take to gain the upper hand during periods of conflict. And what they're really asking you about here is they're asking about industrial actions, right? And so you have like go slow. You have to know what these industrial actions are. So you have go slow, work to rule, overtime bans, strike action, and picketing. All right. Then it says, describe each of the following strategies that may be used in the resolution of conflict in the workplace, right? And so what they want you to do now is to describe grievance procedure, mediation, and arbitration, right? So grievance procedure is really the agreed process of attempting to resolve an industrial dispute, right? So it's the procedures or the process that must be followed, right, when you have a grouse, right? Mediation is the use of a third party in industrial disputes to encourage both parties, our employer, employees, to discuss an acceptable compromise or solution. Arbitration is when industrial disputes use an independent third party, right? Independent third party means it's not affiliated to anyone, right? To judge and to recommend an appropriate solution. Next question, 2D, it says, explain 2 strategies that may be adopted by management to build good relationship between management and staff in the workplace, right? So what they're really asking you is, what are some of the strategies that management can put in place to ensure that good relationship exists between themselves and their employees, right? So let's look at these, right? So I have here, develop clear lines of communication, right? Chain of command. A lot of times conflict arises in the organization because of poor communication. So having a clear line of communication will reduce misunderstandings and increase communication within the organization, right? Management can also have regular employee feedback sessions to hear the grouses of the employees, right, with an aim to improve employee satisfaction. Management can also have regular staff socials or employee appreciation days. You know, these are days where they would treat their employees and stuff like that. And this would help to foster a better relationship between management and employees. Don't you think? Yeah. All right. So question 3, right? It says we are to distinguish between the subsistence level of production and the domestic level of production, right? Now, the subsistence level of production, it means producing only enough for your family and your friends, while domestic production involves producing not just for your family and your friends, right, but for the local market, right? So it's a larger scale production, right, than the subsistence. Then you have question 3B, list 3 characteristics of cottage industries. Home-based, 1, it is cottage industries are home-based. They normally operate from home. They normally use simple technology. They normally use family labor, and they make use of local raw materials, right? So those are 3 characteristics. The question did say listing, so you don't have to write any long thing, just list, right? Then this question says, state 3 functions of small businesses in rural communities. Now, small businesses provide more personalized service to customers, right? You can go to small business and you can buy half a bread and stuff like that, right? I don't know if where you are located in the Caribbean or in Jamaica, people still do that, but you can go to small businesses, especially in rural area, and buy in very, very small quantities, right? And that brings us to the next point. Small businesses selling small quantities. Number 3, it responds to customers' demand in a shorter time frame, right? So they are able to reach customers quicker because they are nearer to customers, right? And that brings me to my 4th point, which is it provides convenience for customers. So instead of customers having to travel to the main town or the main city to get products and services, right, they could just benefit from it right in their small communities, right? So it's more convenient for customers. State 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of small businesses. Now, small businesses advantages, they are easy to manage. I mean, you know, it's small, right? Small amount of employees, right? Small capital is easy to manage. Small business owners generally have good relationship also with their customers. That's an advantage, right? The disadvantages, however, one of the disadvantages that small business may find it difficult to compete against larger firms, right? You know, and that just makes sense, right? The larger firms can do much more. And so small businesses sometimes may find it difficult to compete. Also, small businesses sometimes lack continuity, as in the case of sole trader or the sole proprietorship type of business, right? If the owner dies, then the business will basically die. So it lacks the continuity, right? As that larger businesses have. All right. All right, 3D. The owner of a small manufacturing business is considering expanding her firm. Explain 2 possible effects the firm's growth may have on the internal operations of the business. Right now, this question is basically asking you how the business will change as it grows, or how a small business will evolve as it grows, right? And when I'm teaching my students, I always tell them to look at themselves, right? What changes about them when they grow, right? So let's look at this now. The organizational structure of the business will change as it grows. So as the firm grows, the organizational structure will become more complex, right? There will be more departments, resulting in the need for more employees. And 2, scale of production, right? So as the business grows, it will improve its productive capacity and will produce more. And that brings me to my 3rd point, right? That the use of technology. As the business grows, more cutting-edge technology will be needed, and the firm may need to employ more machines to the production process. And that is what we call capital-intensive production. All right, guys, so let us look at question 4. So question 4 talks about, it's asking you to define each of the following technology, right, used in businesses. E-commerce. Now, e-commerce, E stands for electronic, commerce stands for business. So it's really buying and selling using the internet, right? Global positioning system, or GPS. Now, GPS is used in logistics mainly, right, and supply chain operations to track the location of products, right? 4B says list 4 activities involved in supply chain operations. So 4 activities that are involved in supply chain operations are the movement and storage of raw materials, processing of raw materials into finished goods, storage of work in progress and finished goods, and delivery of finished goods, right? So if you don't know about supply chain operations and logistics, I have a video. You can just search my channel and look in the description, as a matter of fact, and I'll place that link there where you can check out the lesson on logistics and supply chain. 4C, it says outline 3 advantages of supply chain operations to a firm. So 1, it fosters good relationship with the suppliers, right? And also, supply chain operations can help to improve quality assurance as storage and modes of transport can be controlled, right? And even though it says 3, a good supply chain operation can improve customer satisfaction. For example, Amazon Prime. With Amazon Prime, you can get your product like next day or even same day, right? And so, it will improve customer satisfaction. And 4D, it says explain 2 ways in which logistics can improve the competitiveness of a business. All right, so for 1, logistics can improve customer satisfaction, especially if you have good logistics, right? So a business that invests greatly in logistics will be better able to respond to customers' demands more quickly. And, this will result in customers being satisfied, right? And it will give the business that competitive edge, right, of having satisfied customers, and customers will want to use them, right? Because they respond quickly to their demands. Second point is that it increases confidence in product movement and delivery, right? So you can have optimism, right, in your logistics. So a firm with an excellent logistics plan can have confidence, right, of always having stock to satisfy the demand, and can thus make claims that other businesses can't, right, such as next day delivery or even same day delivery, right? And customers love these things, when you buy something, you want it to be delivered quickly. And the last question 5A, it says list 4 social services which are provided by a government for the citizens of the country, right? So 4 social services are healthcare, like clinics and hospitals, national insurance scheme, education, like schools, public schools, roads and transportation. All those are social services. Then it says, Part B, outline 2 responsibilities of a government to its citizens. So our government should maintain law, order, and security, right? They should protect the citizens of the country, and they can do this by creating laws and operate courts of justice, right? Another responsibility is to provide jobs and social services, right? So government's supposed to create jobs or opportunities for jobs for citizens, right? And also provide social services such as healthcare, education, and housing. 5C, it says, describe 3 ways in which government may assist in the development of the local business sector, right? So government can assist in the development of the local business sector by providing an economic environment, right, that will stimulate business growth. And they can do this by providing amenities such as utilities and even lowering interest rates, right? Some governments set aside special areas for industrial development, right? For industrial development, and that can stimulate local business activity like arcades. I don't know if you have arcades in other countries, but in Jamaica, we have arcades where you have small businesses in one area, right? Number 3, trade promotion. So the government can help to promote businesses and trade. They can provide information about foreign markets to small business owners, right, or local business owners, and also trading opportunities, and to provide training and technical assistance for small business owners. Because let's face it, a lot of these small business owners, they don't have the expertise to know how to manage and run a small business. And so a lot of times they'll make errors that will cost them their business. So the government can provide training for aspiring entrepreneurs or even existing entrepreneurs that will help them to learn more how to manage their business. All right, the last question, 5D. So education could be considered one of the great growth industries of developing countries. Explain 2 ways in which education could contribute to economic growth in the Caribbean region. Now, this is one of the common sense questions, right? I doubt your teacher will teach you this. They're just testing your common sense here, right? But these are 2 points that I have. So quality education will increase the competence of the population, right? Education will make the population more employable or marketable, which means that persons can get better paying jobs and are able to contribute more to the economy, right? So they have better standard of living and they can contribute more. National income will grow and stuff like that. Second point is that education can lead to increase in research and development in the region, and this could result in new discoveries and innovations that can benefit the region economically, right, or financially. So education can cause an increase in the quality and in the output of work, right? And that can lead to economic growth as well, right? So there you have it, right? 2021 past paper. I'll be doing some more of this, but ensure that you study. And as I said before, teachers' opinions on the answers will vary. There's no one answer, right? And that's the beauty about POB. It's a common sense subject. So study and work good.